Okay, let me give you guys some help on your homework. So let me just quickly run through these laws. So whenever you see something to the power of a negative number, you don't understand what it means to have a power of a negative number. So you immediately jump to 1 over x to the power of a positive version. Okay, so we've seen this. And whenever you see something to the power of a half, then well, to the power of a half means the square root of x. So whenever you see to the power of a half, in your mind, picture something times by itself to give you this thing here. So for example, 4 to the power of a half. In your mind, picture this. One thing multiplying by itself to give you 4. So the square root of this is actually 2. So whenever you see to the power of a half, picture this in your mind and try and figure out a number. When you multiply it by itself, it gives you this thing here, in which case it's 2. And we've seen this. And whenever you see to the power of a third, it means to the power of a third means it's a cube root of x. So in your mind, picture this, something times by itself 3 times to give you this thing here. So for example, 8 to the power of a third. In your mind, visualize this something times by itself 3 times to give you 8. Okay, so picture this in your mind. So we've seen this, and x to the power of a to the power of b means a times b. So whenever you see x to the power of a weird fraction, you see to a simple fraction is the square root, the cube root. Well, to the power of a weird fraction, you break it up into a third and squared. So a third. Well, if you look at this, you would get a times b. So if you look at this, a times b would then give you this thing here. So whenever you see to a power of a complicated fraction, then break it up like this to the power of a third, because this times this would give you this. And whenever you see to the power of a negative, then think of it as to the power of -1 to the power of that same thing here. So if you get this times this, it will give you this. So whenever you see to the power of a negative, then break it up as this. So if you have let's say if you have 3 over 7 to the power of -1, then do this bit first. Do this bit first. So remember we've done this already. If you have a power of a -1, it's really the reciprocal of this. So this will be 7 over 3. If you have, let's say if you have 5 to the power of -1, then it's really the reciprocal of 5. So you would imagine this 5 as 5 over 1, which is the number 5. 5 over 1 is the number 5. So when you have to the power -1, it's really you turning this thing upside down. So it's really you taking the reciprocal. So this thing here would then become this. Well, anyway, let's put it to use now. So you're trying to figure out 49 to the power of a half. Now you don't understand what it means to have a power of a half. So if you look at this in your mind, picture this. And then if you look at this to the power of a third, well, in your mind, picture this. And then to the power of a fourth, and so on. So hopefully you can take care of these 4, and this one, and so on. If you have to the power of a decimal, then turn into a fraction. So 9 to the power of 1.5. Imagine 1.5 as 1.5 over 1, and then times top and bottom by 10. So that would then give you 15 over 10, and then divide top and bottom by 5. So that would be 3 over 2. So this 3 over 2 is this thing. So when you look at this, 9 to the power of 3 over 2. Now you don't understand what it means to have a power of a complicated fraction. So you should be thinking about this. You should be looking at this. Power of a complicated fraction, break it up as this times this. So excuse me. And then this is also to the power of a complicated fraction. To the power of a complicated fraction, break it up as well, this thing here, maybe you can break it up as 16 to the power of a quarter to the power of 3. So if you get this times this, it will then give you this. Okay, and then hang on, let me think. So hopefully you can take care of all these. Hang on, let me think. This one turned into a fraction. Hang on, let me think. And yeah, this one here, you don't understand what it means to have a power of a negative number. So maybe you can think about this. You don't understand what it means to have a power of negative number, so you immediately jump to whatever you jump to. And then this thing here, so you've got a complicated fraction to the power of a negative 2. Whenever you see a negative, then break it up as to the negative, and then this thing here. So the point is that this thing here, break it up as this. 1 over 4, and then to the power of minus 1, and then to the power of 2. So if you get this times this, it will give you negative 2. But the point is, anything to the, well, when you have to the power of minus 1, this thing here will simply become 4 over 1, which is 4. Well, think about it. Remember, to the power of minus 1, to the power of if you have 5 to the power of minus 1, you can imagine this as being a fraction, 5 over 1. So if you have to the minus 1, it's really the reciprocal of this, which is 1 over 5. And by the way, if I give you this, you can think of it as being to the power of something negative. You don't understand what it means to have a power of a negative, so you immediately jump to 1 over 5, which is the same thing as over here. Well, think about it. Hopefully you can do this one. Well, if you break it up, it's 1 over 4 to the power minus 1, and then you've got your squared here. Don't forget, you still got this squared here. So you've got to take the reciprocal here and then square it. Okay, so here you've got a power with a negative. So think about breaking it up. Think about making use of this thing here. Break it up as a negative 1 times something. So break this up. Okay, and then you've got to, well, turn this into a fraction. You've got a negative here. So immediately to separate the negative, well, to the power of a half, you can think of it as like this. This is 9 to the power of negative 0.5. So you've got a negative here. So whenever you have a negative, think immediately separate that negative. So visualize it like this. Okay, so immediately get rid of that negative, separate that negative. And then same idea here, separate the negative straight away, turn it into a fraction. This thing here, turn it into a fraction, separate the negative, turn it into a fraction, separate the negative. So think about it, okay?